Hi everyone, I'm going to continue the series of the Daf Yomi today, and very interesting, in today's page on Lamed Zayin, it's all going to relate to some of the laws of Kashrut, the kosher laws which we learn, which is essential in all our households. Whatever religious domination we are in, many of us are definitely strict when it comes to Kashrut, with regards to what comes inside the house, what mixing, which sinks we have, for which respective kinds of foods, whether milk, dairy or meaty or whatever it might be. Many of us, and rightly so, we have to be strict on it. This is one of the mitzvot in the Torah that we are meant to keep and we're meant to be careful about. Actually relates over in Sefer Devarim that if, God forbid, there is an avela, there is a food that is an avela, it should be sold to a non-Jew. However, what if this food is rotten? It's a rotten food and it's got no taste, or it's got a very bad taste to it. Is that prohibition still intact over here? And it seems like if something is from an avela and it's got a rotten taste to it, it's got something that's noten tam lifgam, they call. It's got a very, very bad taste to it. There might not necessarily be that prohibition against consuming it, especially if it's in one of those specific ingredients, if it's got that repulsive taste to it. However, other interesting laws I learned out from Noten Tam Lifgam, which, for example, I learned about when I was learning the laws of Kashrut. For example, there is a case, what about a pot? A pot that was used within more than 24 hours ago, when someone cooked, let's say, non-kosher food inside of it. Say this pot was washed and it's reused more than 24 hours later, and you cook something kosher inside there. Will the content still be non-kosher or treif? We learn out that a rabbi of the name Rabbi Chuna Bar Chia in today's Daf would learn out that something that is got, you're using a pot that is more than 24 hours old, it's going to give off a bad taste of the bliot, of let's just say the juices or the molecules, which was cooked more than 24 hours before. It's going to give a bad taste to it. So the contents more than 24 hours later will still be deemed as kosher within regards to this, within regards to what we see inside the discussion in Talmud. However, it must be noted that one cannot engineer a situation where they take a pot which is more than 24 hours old, and they know for sure that something treif, not kosher, was cooked inside it, and then reuse it. That is not allowed by any means, or to engineer that situation whatsoever. One has got to, even if it's more than 24 hours old and they own a pot like this for one reason or another, something treif had been cooked inside it, they have got to kosher it in with all the halachic kosher requirements, how to kosher the pots respectively. However, if it was by accident cooked inside something that treif was cooked inside more than 24 hours before, and let's say that it wasn't something that was with a sharp taste, or anything that will extract some of the molecules of juices in a more extract way, it was more than 24 hours, then the contents of that pot seemingly, according to many other opinions, would be a kosher. Also, these laws can apply within regards to if someone had cooked something milky and then more than 24 hours had lapsed since then, and you cook something meaty in. If it was within the 24 hours, you might need to make sure that the contents has more than 60 against it. However, once again, if the pot had something cooked that was a sharp food item inside of it, the laws will be different and more stringent, and in no situation, again, one should engineer to cook milky products inside a pot that had been cooked with meat at all. One's got to designate it for dairy or meaty or whatever it might be. And the source for this actually comes in the Parashiot of Matot and the Maseh at the end of Sefer Bamidbar, where after the war against the Midianites, the Am Yisrael, they had taken into possession many of the kalim, and they were ordered to kosher all these utensils which they had gained from the spoils of the war. However, from the law of it, it seemed like only the ones that was cooked within the 24 hours had to be kasher, but because there was a doubt of what had been used within the last 24 hours, all of the utensils, all the kalim had to be koshered up within which they had obtained from the spoils, because there was that suffix also. That's what Rabbi Rabbi Chuna Bar Chia would learn today in the Daf, in the Talmud today, in page number 37. Very interesting. I would look it up, search online, the laws of Kashrut from a reliable Orthodox authority, a trustable Orthodox authority, and I would recommend everyone to learn courses on Kashrut. You know, it's very, very important we are careful with what we eat, and all the more so nowadays that many different hechsherim there are nowadays, and the Rabbonim can check in a more strict manner than it was, let's say, 100 years back or whatever it might be. Guys, have an awesome day. Interesting insight into Kashrut. And yeah, just look into it. Page number 37, Daf Lamed Zayin of Masechet Nazir. Be blessed. Bye.